What is going on, everyone? Colonel Cotton Belt here, and I'm going to live a little earlier than I scheduled because I've got a train coming. So we're going to flip the camera around to the backside and see if we can watch this train coming. And I know I got some signs in my way, but I'm at a new place. There we go. Looks like just a standard mixed freight. So still waiting on people to come in. Hope everyone is doing good. Looks like we got Hot Dog Pilot Andy as the first one here. So Andy, I hope you can hear me well because I am also testing out my new mic. But I'm at a new spot. Normally, I am. Oh, there goes some Cotton Belt Bulkhead Flats. Nice. Normally, I am rail fanning in Cabot, Arkansas, where I reside. Oh, here's an old Southern Pacific boxcar right now. And my wife is at a class. So I am in Manshed Railroad's town of Conway, Arkansas. So this is the Van Buren sub or subdivision. So Andy, how's it going, buddy? And I see I got channel member Lynn McCurdy and the HDMMRC in the house. What is going on, Lynn? All right, I'm going to flip the camera back around so that way y'all can see my ugly face. There we go. So Lynn says he is watching from the ship in the middle of the lower Pacific. I'm assuming that's what he means, the South Pacific Ocean. I did see your picture where you had a cake for crossing the international date line, and he is confirming that he is a day ahead of us. So Lynn, if you don't mind, please share me the lottery numbers so that way I can win tomorrow. It'd be greatly appreciated. For those that have not seen or do not follow Grandpa Rails and Jack Jack, they have both put up videos where they came and visited the layout last Tuesday. I highly recommend go checking the videos out. And it is all settled. We know what Jack Jack's speed is. So it has always been a joke about when you run your trains, you got to run your trains at Jack Jack speed. Well, we finally got the confirmation of what Jack Jack speed is. So the ship engineer took Lynn down to see the Golden Rivet. There you go. That is absolutely right. So I'm not sure who all is going live tonight. This is just kind of me just doing spur of the moment. So I do recommend that if there are other shows going on, that you go and check them out as well. Give them the love and support. So, hey, Steven, Wigwag Workshop. What's going on, man? So I do got a couple announcements. I finally got a package in from Mini Prints. I might open this up here in a little bit. Let's see if we get a few more people in here, and then I'll consider opening the package. And Lynn is dressing up as a zombie pirate tonight. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I got a couple announcements for y'all, and I'm just kind of keeping look just to see if maybe another train is coming or not. I don't know. As far as signals go, there is a signal just right in front of me. and it is a bi-directional signal. So of course I can, and it doesn't even look lit from my angle or my position, so I can't really tell you one way or another. But what I can tell you is I can see a long ways that way. Um, as far as the heads up notice, I heard the horn blowing from the other directional. Hey, channel member Joe Rader, Black Rock Central Railroad. What's going on, Joe? Um, so I was not planning on going live until 6 o'clock on the dot. And then I heard the horn blowing. I was like, oh shoot, I better go live. So for those that are just coming in here, you already missed the first train. And if I would have went live at 6 o'clock like I was originally planning on, then you all would have missed the train and not get to go back and see it. So, Carolina Foothills Railway. Good evening to you too, sir. So yeah, I've got an unboxing, and like I said, I've got a an announcement. So lost chat for a few. Guessed the ship moved. I'm pretty sure it did, Lynn. CP368 production. Tim is already dark here because it is overcast. Well, Tim, you're finally getting all that rain that we had for the past couple of days. The sun finally come out. It warmed up a little bit. Um, right now, my truck is saying it's 63 degrees Fahrenheit, and I am in the shade. So the sun is behind me, so that way I'm not staring off into the blazing sun. But um, I'm just kind of looking back and forth to see if anything comes. I mean, this is a new spot for me. I've never rail fanned here. And if Manshed ever pops in here, I'll tell him to come, that he needs to come down here and come hang out with me because I'm in his town. I didn't give him a heads up that I was coming, but um, Tim says they're getting rain often for about 2 weeks. Yeah. And Joe is also saying the sun is gone here as well. Yeah, well, I'm an hour behind both of y'all. I think Steven, you're Eastern time zone too, if I'm not mistaken. Lynn's he's a day ahead of us, so um, it's already Halloween for Lynn. And so when Lynn crosses the international date line tomorrow, he'll get to celebrate Halloween a second day. Um, but yeah, it's coming up noon Friday. Some clouds and sea in all directions. Oh, I'm sure. If you're out in the Pacific, I'm pretty sure you got sea everywhere. So all you do is see the sea. That's right. Um, so what would y'all rather me do first? Would y'all rather me unbox, or would y'all rather me share my announcement? So I'll give y'all a few seconds to pick which one you would rather see first. Man, you can see a ways that way. A ways. All right, I got one for special announcement. Come on. I see there's 7 people in the chat. All right, I got one for unbox. The announcement you made on the group already? That could be Tim. I'm not going to confirm or deny it. Carolina Foothills is also saying announcement. Okay. So I guess nobody wants to see my mini prints, right? That's what nobody wants to see. Jason should have seen the line for the international date line right down the middle of the Pacific. Well, that line's not totally straight though, Lynn. It's got some zigzags to it for good reasons though. Has to do with countries that split both sides of the longitude, and so they had to kind of draw around the countries so that way they would stay in one time zone. So at some point you could travel north or south and go into a different day. Joe Rader is saying unbox. All right. We got 9 people watching. So what I'm asking is, do you want me to unbox my mini prints that I ordered, or would you like to hear my special announcement first? And Great Northern 70, Greg is here. What's going on, Greg? Greg, you just missed the train, buddy. Um, you have to go catch the replay because it highballed, but it had some pretty cool pieces in it. What color is the line painted? Joe wants to know. So Lynn, we want to know what color is that line painted. There we go. Oh, that's a record for Heath. He opened a box in less than 9 minutes. It usually takes him about 50. Hey, Rusty, Possum Bayou, what's going on? The line was blue. So I guess the line just matched the rest of the ocean. So a blue line. All right, let me go count. Let's see. We've got 1 for the announcement, 1 for the unboxing, 2 for unboxing, 2 for announcement, 3 for unboxing, 3 for announcement. Well, that's a tie. All right, I'm going to lead the tiebreaker up to Rusty now. Rusty, do you want me to give you my special announcement first? Or would you rather see what I got in the box first? Oh, Greg is saying announcement. Then Rusty might tie it up. We'll see what Rusty says. Where is John SRV when you need him? He must be doing his birthday dinner or something. Because I could use John to keep up with the count of all of this. And if Pappy was here, I would tell him I see a caboose. Looks like a Missouri Pacific caboose. All right, so Rusty tied it back up with box. All right, so we got to wait for one more person to come in and say they would rather have announcement or box. Maybe someone in the chat's just lurking. So, because it was up at 12, now it's down to 10. But yeah. And the one thing I don't know, like I don't know this railroad very well, but I do see what appears to be a siding over there, but the signal head right here is a single-headed signal. So maybe it's not a siding. Maybe it's a siding that's been discontinued. I don't know. Hey, John Goforth, come in. He is going to be my tiebreaker, so it is the box. So he said the box. And I think that's because John already knows what my special announcement is. All right. Now the tricky part's going to be is how am I going to open this box? Because I don't think I have a pocket knife in here. Well, I did not plan that very well, did I? I got a network cable. Well, what I might have to do is see if I can pull a key off or something. You know what? I'm going to do that. So I'm going to set the mic down. Can y'all still hear me pretty well? River likes boxes. All right. Because this is that fabric tape. There we go. Okay. So for Mini Prints, they give you a thank you for their order. Oh, someone actually signed it. I guess that would be Bernard's signature. So there we go. River is your orange Tomcat. Oh, okay. All right. So the first thing I got, this was the freebie, is the Spooktober Scarecrow. See how well you can see that. Not real sure. Not with it in the plastic, anyways. But this was the freebie item that I got. Oh, you can kind of see these. And some of these items are still left on the sprues, but I had these pre-painted because I just don't have the time for it. But I got some, I don't know how easy it's going to be, some cattle skulls. Lynn did us proud at the buffet. I'm sure he did. I'm going to see if I can get a better... I really don't want to open these. I might, though. Oh, he did have a hard case in here. Nice. I might open them. Do they put scarecrows in rice fields? No, but that was my freebie. So, all right. Let's see what I got here. So this was actually a 3-pack. And I could use one or two of these. The third one doesn't really make sense to me. Maybe it does to somebody else. But this will probably be the one I end up using. Golly, this is little. Holy smokes. It's a weather vane. And the fact that it's already black, I don't have to paint it. That's even better. So the 3-pack, you get the rooster. Or, man, I got to be very careful with these. A bull. Now here's the one that does not make sense to me. Maybe out on the West Coast. I don't know. A whale? Anybody know anything about a whale weather vane? I don't. But I would like to hear it. My audio just improved. Well, let me check. No, it's still on the Bluetooth headset. So no, my lapel did not die. The windsock just came off though. That's the only downside about this mic. Really? So the whale is popular in Connecticut. Who'd have thunk it? So now it's clear. Well, I did have it sitting down, so I don't know. So Google says they do put scarecrows in rice fields. So the whole purpose of the Mini Prints order was literally for the weather vane and the cow skulls, because I am scratch building a barn, And um, so that was the whole purpose of it. The Scarecrow was just a free item that I got with the purchase. Now, he had one other weather vane, and I didn't get it because my building is being judged with points. But if it wasn't being judged with points, I probably would have got the other one, and that would have been the weather vane that's a locomotive. He's got some other stuff that I am interested in getting, but it'll be a while before I can do anything. Okay, that's not a train. All right, I'm gonna see if I can open the cows so that way y'all can see, get a better look at it. And I really only needed one of these. I didn't need four, but it comes in a 4-pack. Okay, so there are two on this bill plate. So I'm just going to show you both of these. And I went ahead and paid to have them painted because I didn't want to take the time to do it. And set the mic back down, and I don't know how clear y'all can see the. There you go. Not too terrible. All right, I'm going to put that back in the baggie. All right. Okay, so that was my mini Pritz order. Use the horns as hood ornaments on a vehicle. I could do that. But he actually makes the horns for a hood ornament, not the whole cow skull. Going to catch the special announcement later. Wife wants to go eat. All right, Lynn. Well, y'all have a good dinner. And don't forget to eat about 4 or 5 plates for me. We'll see you next time. Y'all be safe out there on y'all's trip, all right? Thanks for popping in. So whale tours are done in New England, so it makes sense that it would be popular up there. Yeah. See, I didn't know any of that. So that's my ignorance. Um, I just saw it and I was like, I didn't understand it. So I appreciate y'all being on here to fill me in with that information, because if you're not from the Northeast or you never been up to the Northeast, preferably New England, you just don't know things like that. Hey, Stormy Sky Rail Productions. Our whole team is heading out to Ohio tomorrow for the big YouTube meetup in Deschler on November 1st. All right. Well, I would love to meet up in Deschler, but that's just a little too far. I think it's like 14, 16 hours for me to get there. So, oh, Jack had a blast, Joe. And, yeah, me and JD was giving him hell, about Jack speed. So I don't know if y'all saw JD's video on that or not. If you're not subscribed to Jack or Grandpa Rails, I highly recommend it. So for those who are just now coming in here, they came by the house on their way back to Texas from Joe's, and got to see the Delta Pines Southern or subdivision, as it's being built. And Jack Jack got to do some switching over in Hickory Ridge, which I didn't film any of it, but JD filmed, me giving him, kind of the rundown, how to work it and things like that. So, is that Colonel Sanders or Colonel Clink? Uh, what's going on, Martin Siersma? Um, I don't know. Well, I know who Colonel Sanders is. I don't know who Colonel Clink is. So here goes my ignorance again. Um, but Jack Jack came. He actually got to switch out Hickory Ridge. We found an issue with one of my locomotives that a couple of the axles, the wheels are out of gauge, and it's an older Bowser, so I'm definitely going to have to look into it. Hey, Brad from Willow Creek Industrial Spur. What's going on, Brad? Um, so so yeah, that was a lot of fun. Hey, how are you doing? I will be heading to Train Fest this weekend. Matthew Goodchild, welcome, Matthew. Um, where is Train Fest at? I don't. It's definitely not close to me. Oh, Hogan's Heroes. Okay. Yeah. I didn't watch Hogan's Heroes. I know my dad did, but I didn't really watch that. I know of Hogan's Heroes, but I never watched it. So, special announcement. All right, here it goes. Actually, I got two. Oh, Matthew is saying Milwaukee, Wisconsin is where Train Fest is going to be. So, if you're near Milwaukee, might be something worth going to. All right, announcement number uno or one. Next month, me and Robert Flying Crow are planning on attending the Oklahoma City Train Show. So if you're going to be in Oklahoma next month, I'm trying to remember what the dates is. I think it's the weekend after Veterans Day. So maybe you'll get to learn some LCC stuff up there. Hey, that would be great. LCC is definitely the way to go. For those who have not gotten into it. It's the, let's see, this will be the first weekend in November, so it's the third weekend in November. So I'll be going to the Oklahoma City Train Show. Really looking forward to hanging out with Steve. Trying to talk JD and Jack Jack on coming up that weekend. Since Flying Crow's coming up that weekend, but I don't know if they'll be able to or not. But I'm trying. Announcement number two. The spreadsheet. So for those who follow my Facebook group, you've already kind of seen this announcement. For those who have been, they know I've been selling an estate. Well, since that estate, I acquired another estate, which I was able to pay cash for that one. It's a small estate. So one of the things that I have been working on that's not been on the layout is my website, trainfreakhobbies.com. The store is fully set up. So all of those items that are on the spreadsheet are now going to be on the store so you can actually see what you're getting. And instead of trying to get with me and set up a payment and things like that, now you can just buy it straight through the store. So, and it'll, it handles everything now. Um, so that's kind of the big announcement. It's going to take me a while to get all the items up there because you're talking, $15,000 worth of items, if not more. So I'm going to start with all of the building stuff first. I've got some of that. Actually, I started with my inventory, my actual company inventory first. So soundtracks, decoders, LCC equipment, all of that's on there. But as far as the estate items, I'm going to do the building kits first because they are bigger in size. Hopefully, and I'm going to tell you, there's good deals because I have gone to some of the competitors and I'm making sure that our price is lower than everybody else. But I'm trying to get the building stuff on there first, the stuff that takes up the most room, because the one guy that's got the big estate, there's still more stuff I have to go get. I just don't have the room for it. Hey, Trackside Mike, what is going on? Um, so it is on the website. Unfortunately, those out of country, I don't have that set up yet. I might look at trying to do that in the future, but with the tariff wars and stuff going on, I just don't see that being beneficial. But if it's one of those that, like, if you're doing like a meetup in the States or something, maybe I can get it to a friend or someone that y'all can meet across the border somehow. But with the tariff situation going on, I'm not trying to get involved in that. Um, so yeah. But I thought I would let you know the web store is up and running. That's my other big announcement. So I'm wondering if another train's going to come by. I got lucky with that first one because I honestly I have no clue what the rail traffic is like here. That could have been a local. I don't know. So for those that are wondering, in Conway, Arkansas, this is a hometown of Manshed Railroad. For those who follow Manshed, I haven't seen them in the chat tonight. So this is Union Pacific's Malvern subdivision. Not Malvern, Van Buren subdivision. My apologies. Van Buren subdivision. It runs northwest out of the North Little Rock, Arkansas yard, runs over to Van Buren, and it goes into Oklahoma. I think it runs all the way up to Tulsa, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know where the other end is. But it is a single track main. But I do know it is bi-directional traffic, so we shall see if anything ever comes from one direction or another. So that's why I'm just kind of looking back and forth because I don't know what the train traffic is here. I mean, if they're only running maybe 3 or 4 trains a day, I got real lucky by catching one. So I was through Conway when I was storm chasing 11 years ago. Okay, well, you know where I'm at roughly. My wife, she is about a block away in a class. I don't know what type of class she's doing. She just wanted me to drive her up here. Her class is from 6 to 7. So, and she said she knows exactly where I parked, so she'll just walk back. Uh, but yeah. Next announcement. I believe December's got 5 Tuesdays, if not mistaken. So 5th Tuesday, On Track Tuesday, I will be hosting that. So that will be at, what is that, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock my time. So that is announcement as well. As far as what I'm doing on the layout, I'm slowly working on it. We are in the middle of doing a remodel on our bathroom, so that's taking a lot of my time away. Actually in the demolition phase still. We've got the vanity out. We got half the floor out. Now I'm working on getting the shower out, and the concrete wall that the tile is stuck to is a son of a gun. So it's not going as fast as I want it to, but I don't want to pay thousands of dollars for someone to come in and just have it ripped out in a day. I mean, that would just be ridiculous. So, but but yeah, that's taking time away from the railroad for sure. Where am I at with Brinkley? I've got 2 more pieces of track to build. Um, I've got just a standard number 5 left-hand turnout, and then I have a number 10 curved 28, 24 radius turnout to build, and then I'll have all the track work done. Joe, I thought about the dynamite, but man, that might take out my whole house. I don't know if I want to do that. That might be a little excessive. And I don't have basements like y'all do up in the Northeast. So, or just in the North. You know, the frost line here is, I think it's only like 4 inches in the ground, where the frost line up there for y'all is a lot thicker. It might be 6 inches, but it's it's not real deep as far as like, the frost line. So with that being said, yeah, not happening. Is that a train out here? I don't know. I heard something. I think it was someone's vehicle. So, but what I will say is when I do get Brinkley done, I will still have to order some more tortoises, and I'll have to order some LCC equipment, and then I can have that whole section of the layout operational, and that will bring the Rock Island back. And then once the Rock Island's back, I will be able to really do operations again on the layout and do some operation videos from time to time. So I am looking forward to doing that. Wigwag, man, what are you in pain from? I did not know something happened to you. You've been sick, surgery? What's going on with you, buddy? And Rusty says the frost line here is 2 feet above ground. Yeah, well, that's because you down on the Gulf. And you better be glad Melissa took the path that she took. I mean, I feel sorry for the people in Jamaica, Cuba, the Bahamas, and she's headed to Bermuda. But you know, we gotta be thankful that she didn't come your direction, Rusty. Because I don't know if y'all heard or not, but she tied for the strongest uh, hurricane on the Atlantic, and they're saying that her wind gust is the strongest ever recorded on the planet. So yeah, and I saw a picture of Black River, Jamaica. Holy smokes! It was a comparison of before and after picture. Oh man, it's bad. I mean, if you are the praying type, whatever your religion is, and I don't like to get into religions. Um, I've got my religion that I focus on, but I don't try to tell people how they need to believe or anything like that, and I don't like to discuss it. But if you are the praying type, those people down there, they could use your prayers. I want to say the death toll was like almost 100 already. It's it's not good. It is not good at all. Yeah, that storm is nuts, and I mean, we had being up in Arkansas, we don't really get the wind damage from the hurricanes. I think there was one hurricane that it tracked so fast that when it came up, it was the one that hit the west side of Louisiana. I'm trying to think of that city. Um, it tracked up the west side, close to the Louisiana Texas border, and it tracked up to the center of Arkansas. And because that one moved inland so fast, that is the first time I've ever saw any type of hurricane warnings for any of our counties. And the southern counties did get some wind damage from it. Mostly when a hurricane, tracks through Louisiana and it comes into Arkansas, especially at the eyes on the west side of the state, we do get a lot of flooding from it. Um, but and I mean Katrina, man, it dumped rain for like 3 or 4 days. And that was a monstrosity because of how it hit and the just the geography of New Orleans. That's actually much better than I expected. I was seeing before it hit, and it seemed like they were going to have a lot more casualties. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we do get hammered with tornadoes, and so Steve, 2023, March 31st. That is the one that tracked through Little Rock. As the tornado was in the process of weakening and ending, it hit about 3/4 to a mile south of my house, and my yard had debris and stuff. We didn't have any damage, but just the debris field was in our yard. So, but about a mile south of where I live, there was damage. Trees on houses. It wasn't like the roofs or anything were peeled off, but there was a lot of down trees. There was a lot of like roof damage, like missing shingles and stuff like that, but not like, I think it was probably more down to like a cap, not a cap, but like an EF1 by the time it finished. But as it was going through Little Rock, it was an EF4. So yeah, Katrina tore y'all up big time. That is no lie. I remember that. That was what, 2005, if I'm not mistaken. So so Mike is saying they're getting winds tomorrow, rain today, not much but cool weather here. Yeah. I mean, we got rain yesterday, and well, it rained on and off yesterday. The day before it rained a lot. I mean, it just rained nonstop, and it's really cooled off. Um, so it's temperature right now 61. Any trains coming? So, Mike, I'm actually at a new location, and I was originally going to go live at 7 p.m. Eastern, and I had everything set up, and I was just chilling in the studio. I saw a light down there. I don't know if that's a train. No, it's a vehicle. So I was sitting in the studio, and I start hearing a horn in the distance. This is the first time I've ever sat at this location. And lo and behold, I start seeing the crossing gates a couple blocks up that were activating. And so I went ahead and just jumped on live like quick because I did not want to miss that one. So I am sitting on Union Pacific's Van Buren subdivision that runs from North Little Rock, Arkansas. I believe, and I know it goes into Oklahoma. I believe it goes up towards Tulsa. I don't know if it ends in Tulsa or if it ends somewhere along the way. But this is kind of more of a east-west route, you could say. Um, I don't know how many trains come through here a day. I have no earthly idea. So, are you near the courthouse? I don't know if I am or not. I am downtown. Um, I have honestly, I have no clue. The funny thing is the parking lot I'm sitting at says reserved parking for court employees. So I'm assuming I'm close to the courthouse. On the other side of the tracks, I do see what looks like like a small amphitheater, and there is a Missouri Pacific caboose right beside it. So, what I can tell you is the street right beside me to my left, so it'd be this way, is Oak Street, which is one of the main thoroughfares through here. But I have no clue where the courthouse is. So most of the time I come to Conway, I typically don't come downtown. But like I said, my wife, she's got a class tonight, and her class is until 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. So I'm just chilling, and I probably need to plug my phone up. I bet you that sucker's probably going to go dead any minute. Let me do that real quick. Not too bad. It's at 25%, so Hey, Grandpa Rails, what's going on? I'm glad to see you got the video out confirming about Jack Speed. I will say that's got to be one of your best videos of all time. And that's me being a little biased because you did it on my layout. That's the only reason. But I think it's just funny as hell because we all joke about for years what is Jack Speed. Now we officially know what Jack Speed is. So I really appreciate you putting that up there just to get that confirmation out there for everyone to know. So if you're not running your trains at 6.8 miles per hour, you're not running at Jack Speed. I think that's what it was 6.8. But JD will tell y'all in the comments that we actually checked the speed a lot of times, and that was the first time he ran a locomotive through there. And then once he realized he was going that slow, he kind of sped it up. There was a couple of times he went over 10 miles per hour. So I think one time he got it up to 15. But yeah, we were just giving him hell. I had a lot of fun with y'all hanging out. So I wish y'all could have hung out a little bit longer, but I know y'all had that long drive and the rain probably didn't help matters any. So if we ran on the local layouts that slow, our op sessions would be 10 hours long. Well, so what Jack was doing, Tim, was he was running switching operations. So he was in Hickory Ridge, which is the industrial switching complex. So you're not supposed to be running 30 plus miles per hour through there. That would have been a speed restricted zone. But I would say on my layout, if it's the main line, and you're not a local, you're like a mixed freight and you're just trying to run through towns, I would say 40 scale miles per hour would probably be good on that. I might consider 50, but I think 40 would be good because you don't want to go through it too fast either. Now, passenger, probably a little faster, but that's going to be tricky for someone in case they got a flag stop because then that means they got to slow their train down, and I'm going to have a station at every city, at least some type of depot. Might not be like a full fledged passenger depot like what's at the town of Wiener, but maybe like a small freight depot for mail or something. Jack spent 2 hours switching the industrial park on my layout. It took him about that long too. So your limits are usually 10, but the NS local has been shoving up the Perry Main here about 30. Well, our locals that come through this area, Tim, they run at track speed if they're not switching that town. So I mean, like Cabot, where I live at, we have locals that come through there, and I know it's getting dark, so it's probably getting to where y'all can't really see me as well. But those locals, they run 55 miles an hour through my town because there's no pickups or drop offs. Now, of course, in today's time, the rail's a lot better. You go back to my era, which is the 50s, late 50s. I don't think they really had welded rail back then. I think it was still mostly, um, oh, what you call it, just joined together where you get that clickety clack. So I see a few people popping off. So yeah, I think here in a little bit, I'm pretty sure one of the Canadians are going to be going live tonight. I don't know which one. If you know, you can always post it in the chat. Who's going to go live this evening? Um, but I'm going to be hanging out here until I see my beautiful wife walking back this way. Her class is supposed to end at 7. Hell, it could end later than that. I don't know. I see the street light just across the street came on, so that's always nice. I don't know if another train's going to come through the area or not. I honestly have no earthly idea. So Tim says not a clue. He doesn't watch any of the Thursday streams. Most of the time, I'm not able to watch streams. I will try to catch On Track Tuesday because it is earlier than everybody else's. Andy is saying it's Chris, so go via, go home. Okay. So definitely check out Chris later on. I encourage it. But typically On Track Tuesday, they're typically an hour earlier than everybody else. Just with my work schedule and stuff, it's just hard for me to make the live streams. That and doing family commitments. Um, so for those who don't know, I had to kind of get some priorities in line. Doing YouTube full time was not good on the family dynamic. So I'm sure y'all in the chat can put two and two together to figure out what was going on with me last year and a little bit the year before. So, but yeah. So that's kind of why I've dropped off a little bit, but I'm not going and I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to be here, but that's just part of the reason why. So, but anyways, man, it got dark quick. It is dark outside, y'all. So, what are some of the projects y'all have got going on y'all's layouts, workbench? If you're doing bench work, y'all let me know in the chat. Says I still got 6 people here. So it looks like quite a few dropped off, but that's okay. So at least I got all my announcements out of the way. Well, most of y'all were still here. And for those that came in late, JD is saying multiple projects. Yeah, that is me too. Multiple projects. If you want to see the train, just whenever this stream ends, just go back to the beginning, and within the first minute, you'll have a train. Just the Dash 8 detailing and have to cut the other pit in the elevator factory. Tim, I will say you're doing a very good job on that Dash 8. Please tell me that you are going for the NMRA locomotives certificate, because if not, you should be. I don't know if I'm going to do that one. I think I'm going to lean more on doing the cars instead of the locomotives. Rusty says, I got several projects started. Nice. Well, I'm working on several certificates at one time. I've got the structures certificate I'm working on. I've got the scenery certificate I'm working on. Of course, chief dispatch I've been working on. JD is working on 2 river scenes, coupler replacement, and starting on the peninsula. Oh, JD, you know something? I forgot to tell y'all exactly how I did that water resin pour where you can see in the side of it. So whenever you get ready to do it, let me know. But what you're going to need is some clamps, a piece of masonite that's going to be much wider, and some packaging tape, clear packaging tape. And that's what I did to do that. And when I get ready to do the river on the White River, I will probably end up doing a video on that. So, because that worked out very, very well. Very well. Like most people, when they do like water features to the edge of the layout, it's like their fascia is like a cofferdam per se, but I did it to where the you can actually see not just down in the water, but you can see through the side of it. I'm gonna look and see if I can get a better video image. Oh god, that got real dark. And let's. Okay, can you hear me now? I think my mic officially died on me. But that's a good test because I was testing my mic as well. So, probably, yeah. Tim, I think you can hear me now. Okay, now you can. Okay, yeah. My mic died on me, so I don't know exactly when it died, but it died. But I went ahead and turned the camera around because I'm just too dark to see myself. So if a train does come by, at least you'll get to see the train. I don't know if it will or won't. I'm literally right up under a signal. You can't see the signal from the camera, but it's right off to the left of your screen. But right now there is no train coming that I know of. Not to say that there won't be one coming, because I don't know. So I went quiet as soon as I flipped the camera. Okay. Well, it happens, I guess. It didn't do it earlier, but that's weird. That's weird timing that it did it as soon as I flipped the camera. But yeah, JD, what I was saying is when you get ready to do your water pour, let me know, and I'll tell you exactly what I did if you want that side view as well. It's pretty cool to see that. Or I thought so anyways. Because like I was saying, most people it just looks like a cofferdam. So you can't tell from a distance that there's a water feature there until you get up on it. So well, I hope everyone is having a great Thursday. I know there was a couple of y'all mentioned that you got train shows coming up this weekend. Um, I'm sure those that went to Timonium last weekend had a blast. And JD, if you're still in here, I will tell you, John Arthur texted me and told me that he got to meet you and Jack at Timonium, and he was bragging that he got to meet y'all. And I was bragging back because at that time I was telling him y'all were coming to see me. So, but that was definitely a lot of fun Tuesday. I'm glad I took off. So next time y'all come through, I'm gonna have to hold y'all hostage like Robert did down there that Wednesday. Yeah, John's a great guy. The Rusty is going up to Meridian. Trying to think, what is up in Meridian? There ain't nothing in Meridian that I know of. What's in Meridian, Rusty? So you are looking at coming to OKC? That would be awesome if y'all could. I'm taking, so for OKC, JD, I'm taking that Friday off. And I am going up early in the morning on Friday. And once I get there, me and Steve, we're going to go to the Oklahoma Railroad Museum. And I think he said there was a model train museum as well. But I told him I want to go see the prototypes. And So that's going to be the plan on Friday when I get up there. And then, of course, Saturday will be the train show. And then I'm going to go back home first thing Sunday morning. If you missed it, Jason, we crashed race show Sunday night. Okay, I'll have to go check it out. Railfest. Okay, so Railfest is in Meridian. Okay. Well, yeah, that's what I'm doing now is some train watching, but I ain't seeing much of anything train action wise. And like I said, I've got a signal here, but I don't know if it's dark, so I don't know much about it. I was told this is a dark line. So I don't really know much if the signals actually work or don't work. I think I see a headlight coming from the other way. I think. All right, JD, you have a good one, buddy. We will catch you next time. Thanks for popping in. I mean, I see a bright light from the distance. So I think there might be one coming. Okay, I just got a green signal. So I'm going to show y'all the signal. There's your signal right there. It just went green. So we do have a train coming. How about that? Hey, two in one stream. That's not terrible, right? And I'm going to turn my floodlights on to give us a little extra light. I don't like doing the brights. Well, it's a single main, Tim. I can tell you it doesn't have as much traffic on it as the Hoxie sub, that I'm off of. But yeah, that's definitely a train coming. Yep, I got crossing gates going down. So. And of course, because it's dark, I'm not going to be able to tell you if anything cool is coming, like a few cars in advance or not, like I saw before. But he's coming. He's almost here. So we do have a train. And here he is. Looks like some type of grain train. Goody, goody, a train is coming. That's right, Joe. That is right. So we didn't miss out after all. How about that? Train number 2. Well, those who came in late and left early. So I'll have to put on the stream 2 trains. But the odd thing is when the train that came through earlier, it was coming from the other direction. The signal right under me never lit up. I mean, now it's red because, it tripped it. But it never lit up. So I didn't know if anything, if it wasn't for a horn in the distance, I wouldn't have known. Hey, Chris, Tennessee River Union Railroad channel member. What's going on, Chris? This is train number 2 for the day. And there she goes. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, because now that signal has just gone off. I don't think it's an ABS line because it went green before the train came. If it was ABS, the signals would stay on all the time. They would not go dark. That means dispatch is controlling it. So maybe it's not a dark line anymore like it used to be. It was about 15 years ago when I heard that this line was dark. If that says anything. All right, I'm going to turn the floodlights off. Our block signals on NS go dark until a train enters the block and then they light up. Okay, so that could be it. So maybe it once it entered the block from down there, then it went green, and then once the train cleared, or the back end cleared a portion of it, then it went red. I don't know. So it could be dark with some ABS. I don't know. I'll put it this way: I could still see the Fred, and then the signal went back dark. So I don't know. All right, Andy, thanks for hopping on, buddy. Being the first one with the moldy cookies. I hope you have a great one and have a great weekend coming up. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for hopping in. So, but yeah, pretty cool that this. Like I said, this is a new area for me. I've never rail fanned here before. Not sure what the traffic's like. Just kind of sitting, chilling. My wife, she's about a block away. Said that with her class, and so I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll take you. I know there's railroad tracks nearby. Found out it was only a block away. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go sit at the tracks. I'm gonna go live. So it allows me time to hang out with y'all instead of just sitting in a vehicle doing nothing. So, but as soon as she gets here and I go off, then we'll go get dinner somewhere. But it would be pretty cool if another one came through here pretty soon. But I don't see it happening. Like I said, it's a single main, but I don't know. There's been times that I would sit, at the city parking lot in Cabot on a double, and keep in mind it's a double main track. I know you get more room for traffic, but there would be times I would sit out there, and I'm only out there for like an hour, right? And three trains would come in 1 hour, one followed by another, like they just opened the floodgates. And they wouldn't be on both tracks; they would only be on one track. So it's like once one train came through, here's another one, coming behind it. So I just don't know if they run train traffic like that this way or not. I'm going to assume no. My assumptions are no, if that says anything. Make sure I get my mini prints. Put those back up so they don't get damaged. That would really stink. When I used to work overnights at Walmart, I would go watch trains on the FEC main at lunch around 2, 3 a.m. Yeah, I mean, there's times you see them come in bunches and then you wouldn't see anything for hours. And then there's times where, like, while I'm sitting at work, I'm only 10 blocks away from the railroad tracks, right? And my office is on the exterior wall. So a lot of times I can hear the trains. And if they're in notch 8, there's times I can hear the prime movers before I even hear the horn blow. Because they can be that loud. And, I count anywhere while I'm at work 10 to 15 trains a day. But sometimes, it'd be a lot at one time, and then it would go several hours without seeing a train. And then sometimes it's just kind of, on average, about, every 45 minutes, a train would come by. So I don't know, like, they're not on a timetable anymore like they used to be. Used to be you knew exactly when the train was coming. But that's definitely not how it is today. So, but I do appreciate all y'all hanging out with me tonight. I got lucky. They were very busy at that time, several through freight, and then the Fort Pierce yard, they were building a northbound. Okay. Well, I know the North Little Rock yard, it's a pretty busy yard because you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different subdivisions that come off of it. I mean, it's literally, think of it as an intersection, right where like 2 lines cross each other, and in the crossing, that's your yard, right? That's kind of like what the North Little Rock yard is. And technically, there's a 5th subdivision because if you're going northeast on the Hoxie sub, once you get up to Bald Knob, which is about maybe a third of the way to Poplar Bluff, Missouri, or a quarter of the way, it splits off, and then you got the Memphis sub. So that line, it's double main. It's the only area in the state that is full double main, and it splits, and once it splits, it's single main both directions. So you can run from North Little Rock northeast to Poplar Bluff, Missouri, or run east to Memphis, Tennessee. You could run southeast to Pine Bluff on the White Bluff sub, and then at Pine Bluff you can keep going southeast down to Tallulah, Mississippi, or no, Tallulah, Louisiana, which would take you to Vicksburg, Mississippi. On the McGee sub, you can go west, which is where I'm at, on the Van Buren sub. South would be the Little Rock sub down to Texarkana. And then, of course, if you're in Pine Bluff, you can run a couple of directions. You can run north on the Jonesboro sub, south on the Pine Bluff sub, which would take you to Jack Jack. And then if you do go north on the Jonesboro sub, once you get to Brinkley, it wise off and goes to Memphis as well, which is the Brinkley sub. So, and this is all class 1. I'm not even talking about the short lines and the regionals. This is just the class 1 traffic of Union Pacific. Of course, KCS runs along the west side of the state. BNSF Thayer Sub runs on the northeast part of the state. And I got to refrain. It's not KCS. It's CPKC. I know, but so Tim is saying, I think ours came through about every 4 hours, and everything has a DPU now on our line. Even the intermodals have 1x1 DPU now. The only thing that we have on the Hoxie that does not have a DPU now is the ZLAMN. And let me explain what that is. Z train, that's their hot express train, right? LA, Los Angeles, MN stands for Marion, Arkansas. When it leaves, hold on a second. I thought I heard a horn, but I guess I didn't. Okay, so the ZLAMN, when it leaves Los Angeles, I guarantee you it's definitely got some DPUs on it. It's in the middle and on the rear. But that train will have 5 to 6 locomotives on the point. When that train gets to Dallas, they cut the mid DPUs off and all of the containers behind the mid DPUs because those actually terminate in Dallas. And then they run that train up to Marion without any DPUs. So you'll have 5, 6 locomotives on the point with no DPUs. And we're in a relatively flat area. You don't need the DPUs. So you got that. Now, I've seen the G4 that comes through, which is, I believe, out of Galveston, and it runs up to Chicago. Typically, it will have DPUs in it. Sometimes they'll do like a mixed train where, like, they call it a double unit. So it'll be like a unit train of beer cars that come out of Mexico, and then they'll put a DPU on it, 1 or 2 DPUs, depending on, how much train there is. And then they'll throw a cut, of intermodal behind it. So, yeah. I saw where a light way down there went red. I don't know if that's a street light or what. But there's a light way down the tracks that went red. So I'm curious about that. Maybe another train's coming. Who knows? Sometimes I'll see the beer cars get tagged with auto racks. You'll have like a big cut of box cars, and then you'll have a big old cut of auto racks. The grain trains, coal trains, those that come through, they typically don't have mid DPUs. They'll have a rear DPU. I'm pretty sure what we just saw was a grain train, but it had 3 locomotives on the front, so it should have enough power to pull. The Van Buren sub pretty much follows the Arkansas River Valley, so it's not going through a very hilly area like where their track is. There's really no steep grades or anything like that. Rusty says, I saw a CSX train the other day with 2 SD40-2s and 8 cars behind them. So, Rusty, what you probably saw was a local. That would be my guess. They used to use Jeep 60s for the local here, but what they've done with the locals, man, they have like literally eliminated jobs. The railroad always trying to find ways to save money, right? So I was talking to a buddy of mine that, about, well, it was Jack Jacks who I was talking to. Used to, they ran a local from I'm trying to remember what town he was mentioning, but it would terminate in Texarkana, which has a small yard. And then the local out of North Little Rock would run down to Texarkana, terminate, and come back. So it was basically two locals meeting halfway, right? Well, now they run that local. It'll go south on one day. The crew will stay overnight in a hotel, run the local back the next day. Well, they did the same thing on the Hoxie sub. You know, Hoxie runs from North Little Rock to Poplar Bluff, and they would run locals out of North Little Rock and Poplar Bluff to Newport, Arkansas. You know, go, turn, come back. It's all in the same day. Well, now they'll run the local north, have a crew stay overnight, and run the local south, and have, and the crew will be home. So, coming from the concrete plant, that would definitely be a local, because main lines do not switch along the way. So, for those that don't understand, like how railroad cars and whatnot work, you got your shipper to your customer, right? So your local will go and pick up the cars from the shipper and send it to its local yard. And there, those cars will get classified to, whatever destinations they're going to. They could all be going to the same destination. We don't know. But they get sorted in the yard. And that's right, there is beer in Texarkana. Actually, there was never a Coors place in Texarkana. That was just in the movie. Because Coors would be Denver. But after it got sorted at the yard, it got put on a manifest train, right? And then that manifest would send that car from its current yard to another yard. Now, it could be sorted at that yard and either be put on another put on another manifest, or it could be put on a local, and then that local would take it to the consumer. There's no telling how many different yards that one car that got picked up would go through before it got on its local to get to its consumer. Just depending on, where the shipper and the consumer is located. Conrail Road Freight used to switch one of the locals ag ways back in the days, 1990. Well, Union Pacific, they typically don't like to switch anything out anymore. And when I mean that, what I'm talking about is on the customer side. So Hoxie, and I reference the Hoxie subdivision a lot because I know the Hoxie. I also know the White Bluff and the McGee subs, the Pine Bluff and Jonesboro subs around the Pine Bluff area as well. But I really like to use the Hoxie because I know that stretch a lot better. So when you come out of the North Little Rock yard, the next town you get to is you get to Jacksonville. Okay. And then once you get to Jacksonville, you get there is a cut of industries there. There is a siding on the double main, so it's actually 3 tracks wide. Well, Union Pacific, they do not go down that line. That's actually serviced by the Arkansas Midland Railroad, which is owned by Genesee and Wyoming. And so AKMD will switch out those industries, and then they will take a cut of cars for the UP local to pick up and throw it on that siding. And then UP will come and connect those cars to their train. And then after they do that, they will drop off a cut of cars on that siding, and then UP will truck it back. And then the AKMD will pick up those cars off that siding and sort them to, the different industries that it sorts. There's like 3 or 4 places along the Hoxie sub that it's like that. Now, there is one spot, Searcy, Arkansas, that I know of that another railroad does not service those industries. It's a very, very small line. I think it's only got 2 or 3 customers on it. One is like some type of manufacturing. They receive covered hoppers. I think it's plastic, like pellets of some type. One is a lumber yard that receives lumber off of center beams. And then I think the other is a scrap yard that will receive scrap. Well, so UP does switch it out, but the local doesn't switch it out. UP has a locomotive that sits in Searcy, Arkansas at the end of that line, and it's got a UPY reporting mark. So it means it's a yard locomotive. I think it's like a Jeep 10, or it might be a Jeep 15, Jeep 20. It's a smaller Jeep. Okay. It's not like a Jeep 40, a Jeep 38, or a Jeep 60. It's a small Jeep. I would have to look it up to see exactly what it is. And you can Google map it if you're on a computer. I don't have the capabilities to do that right now. But they will van a crew up to Searcy to get on that locomotive, pull the cut of cars that UP dropped off, and this is a UP crew that does this. Pull the cut of cars that UP dropped off on their little branch line, switch the industries out, and then grab the cut of cars and shove down at the line for the next local to pick up. So I think they only did it because it was between 2 local train jurisdictions and could only be switched eastbound with no runaround. No, that's very possible. I just know UP used to do a lot of switching. They don't really do it anymore. Now, I can't speak for CSX, Norfolk Southern, or BNSF, or CPKC, or CN. I really don't know, but what I can speak on is what I do know, and that has to do with the the Hoxie subdivision. That's what I do know. So but anyways. Well, I don't know if we're going to get another train or not. I think that red light I saw down there, I think it was a street light, because I don't see it no more. And Tim is probably right that it is ABS, that the signal stays dark, but it only goes green once it enters the block. So that could very well be. I'm just surprised it didn't stay red, long enough. And I've got my beautiful wife walking back. What I'll do is let her get in, and she can say hi to y'all. Yeah, we're still on. Before we cut on out of here. So, hello, everybody. Yep. I don't have the camera on me because I'm just too dark. So I got it faced in front. But we've got Chris in here. Well, Chris is leaving. He needs to go to bed. So, Chris, thanks for popping in. You have a good evening, buddy. And I will be in touch with you as I get ready to build your turnouts. We still got Rusty that I know of. Tim's here. And really, those are the only 3 that's been talking as of late. I don't know if Joe is still here or not. I know Andy left, which of course Andy's over there on the other side of the pond. So, yep, Joe says hi. Hello. So Joe is still here. So, well, guys, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. And you can tell this GPS to hush and not to interrupt my live stream. And I will catch y'all next time. So hour and a half, that ain't too bad. We got to see 2 trains. So if you missed a train, go to the very beginning, like within the first minute, you will see the first train. So all right, y'all. Y'all be safe out there. Y'all have a good evening, and we will catch y'all next time. Take care. And happy railroading.